Start with a prayer. Yontaf pravishya mama vacham imam prasuptam sanjeevayathyakhila shaktidharasvadhamna anyan swahastacharana shravanatvagadin प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं दिक्कालाद्यनवच्छिन्न अनन्तचिन्मात्रमूर्तये स्वानुभूत्येकमानाय नमः शान्ताय तेजसे स्वानुभूत्येकमानाय नमः शान्ताय तेजसे. My salutations to the Lord, who makes everything what it is. Ishavasyam idam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Whatever is there in the universe, whatever is objectifiable by me, starting with my mind, the body, the senses, the world. Everything is idam, and the one who pervades and yet is unaffected by what is, because he is in the form of what is. To that Lord, my namaskara. Not something to be known as an object. Swanubhutyekamānāya. Mana means a means of knowing. Swa-anubhuti, without using my mind, without using my senses, without using any instrument, that which is known can only be known that way. Does not need to be proved. Everything is proved by me. I don't need to be proved. Yet, I confuse myself, take myself to be one among the many. Take myself to be the body. And the Upanishad, which is nothing but the teaching of Bhagavan himself, just helps me to remove my wrong notions. When the wrong notions are removed, what is Swanubhuti, what is always shining as I, Aham, is recognized as all that is here. With the blessings of Ishvara, may this vision become my vision and may it abide in me. I go through the initial steps. sitting in the right posture, paying attention to a few details, head, neck, and trunk in one straight line, hands held loosely, fingers clasping each other, thumbs touching each other, smile on the face, eyes closed in a way where the upper eyelids have no wrinkles and are gently touching the lower eyelids. This is a time with myself. I make an auto suggestion that anything else that comes up in my mind, I will look into it after the session of meditation. It can wait. What I want to understand is really just myself. Myself ununderstood is samsara. Myself understood is freedom. To understand myself in the vision of the Shastra, is to, by a process of inquiry, let things be what they are. Through the understanding by a process of inquiry, which we have done, we grant the world the freedom to be in its own space. Visualize people, situations which hold your mind hostage, and say aloud in your mind, I let this person or this situation be. I let go my attempts to change that or the person. The behavior of every person is in keeping with his or her background. If I were to have that background, I would behave in the same way. I don't approve of the behavior, but the person is subject to order. The person is not something I can judge. The person is Ishvara. I have to see him, his behavior also, as being in order. That's growth for me. The more I understand the order of Ishvara, the more I'm able to accept. Acceptance that does not make me somebody who can be abused by others, but an acceptance that gives me the freedom to respond as I should, without being bogged down by my resistance to what is. I pray for myself to be able to accept whatever I find myself, situations I find myself in life. May I be able to accept what is. May I be able to have the necessary will, the effort to change what I can and need to. And may I enjoy the wisdom to see the difference between what is it that I can change and what is it that I cannot. Having let the world be, I let my own past be. Whatever has happened is done. My whole life, every bit of my life in some way has contributed to make me what I am today. If I can pray to Ishvara, if I have come to this juncture where I want to understand Ishvara, my whole life is a blessing. Perhaps if my life had been better, I would have never come to understand or try to understand Ishvara. I can see the anugraha of Ishvara even in challenges which made me look up to him. I don't resist my past. I don't regret my past. I don't blame anyone for the way I feel. Blaming is holding on to the past. Seeking revenge is another expression of holding on to the past. I bear no grudge, no regrets. I let my past be. And I let Ishvara unfold as he will in the future. I don't want to waste my time in the past and future about which I can do nothing. I stay in the present now. I scan my own body, being objective to each part. I can see the blessing of Ishvara in every single part of my body. At the same time, I can also pray for Ishvara to continue to bless the limbs of this body. Nothing wrong with praying for what I want. That's the prayer in the Upanishad too. Apyayantu mamangani vak pranaschakshushrotramatho balam indriyani cha sarvani. May all my limbs be well nourished. Why should it be nourished? So that I can understand Ishvara. Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam. All that is here is one Ishvara. The prayer is, with this body, a healthy mind, I pray, Maham Brahma Nirakuryam. May I not reject Brahman. May I understand Brahman. Mama Brahma Nirakarot. May the grace of Ishvara not be denied to me because of my own stubbornness. Anirakaranamastu, anirakaranam me astu. May there not be a rejection of Ishvara's anugraha to me, which means may I be prayerful, may I have the Shraddha, and may I enjoy all that it takes to discover Ishvara in all that is here. Now my attention is sense of hearing. Just being objective. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare, He Nath Narayana Vasudeva. Words are heard. The meaning is understood if the language is known. Without my willing, without effort. I see that my will has no role in hearing taking place. If I had a will, I would not listen to sounds which disturb me. And if the thoughts that come were in my will, I would not think the thoughts which would bother me. This is how the setup is. I am an awareful being, effortlessly aware, aware of my mind, through the mind, the senses, and through the senses, the world. That's how the setup is. I stop watching the mind and senses. I have nothing to accomplish, nothing to reject, nothing to gain, nothing to lose, nothing to do, nothing to achieve. What am I trying to do? Just be myself. Do I have to try? The only trial or effort is to let things be. And that's cognitive. Space in the mind. You can observe what comes to your mind right now. And you're relaxed. And later you can process why this concern comes again. Gives you a window to see what is the concern that I entertain. But right now, I don't go along with any thought. If a thought comes, I let it. If a thought goes, I let it. This is who I am, basically. Simple, conscious being with body, mind, senses, objects of senses, all given. This I is the same for everybody. Simple, conscious being. Whether we like it or not, whether we know it or not, this individual is ever connected to the total. There is no body unless there is the knowledge that makes this body what it is. There is no mind unless there is the knowledge which makes the mind what it is. Your body, my parents' body, my grandparents' body, mind, everything is related in the same way to that all-knowledge Ishvara. Is there any part, anything which I'm aware of, which is not the knowledge of Ishvara? Any knowledge I have is only something I have gleaned from what I see. I now choose to pray to this Ishvara through a japa. The idea is I'm giving the task, one single task to the mind, and the mind, if it moves away from that, I know that the mind is moving. Helps me train the mind, abhyasa, bringing the mind back to where I want it to. I could do it with any word, any thought. But when I do it with a mantra, I not only have the benefit of training the mind, I also enjoy the grace, the punya that it brings, which I need in good measure. If you have your own mantra, you may use that for your prayer. If not, you can say something like Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Namo Vasudeva Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namah Shivaya. There is no need to get initiated into a mantra when we just want to pray. We pray. What's important is I pray with all my heart, recognizing my inability to control anything, and also recognizing the presence that is all-knowing. I invoke the devotee in me. If visualizing an altar helps you, you may visualize an altar. Light a lamp. Place some flowers. This can itself be a meditation. It's called Manasa Puja. And having done that, I do a namaskara. And now with a sankalpa, you can make any sankalpa. Sankalpa means, why am I doing this prayer? My sankalpa is, may this prayer help me to know Ishvara so that I can own up my association, unchanging association with Ishvara as an individual, and then understand that both individuality and totality are expressions of one Nirguna Chaitanya. And may I abide in that vision. With this prayer, I begin the mantra japa. Om Ishaya Namaha. Namaha means I let go my resistance. Om Ishaya Namaha. Chant. Being aware of the gap between the chants, the interval. Om is the name of the Lord. Ishaya, unto Ishvara, Namaha, my salutation. What is Namaha? Namaha is what obtains when I want nothing to be different. That state of mind is Namaha. Zero resistance. I chant with love. My love for Ishvara, to know Ishvara. Chant. If the mind moves away, I bring my mind back to the chant without condemning, without being frustrated. Chant. I can also say pray. Instead of chant, I say pray. Pray mentally. It's not mechanical, it's a prayer. May your will be done, O Ishvara. Ishaya Namaha. Stop chanting. Don't ask what to do. Whole life we are doing. Right now is a time to say, I just be. Being comes first. Knowing comes later. Doing comes even later. I just am. I, aham. Just keep seeing the meaning of these words as you hear them. Apple, mango, sky, ocean, mountains, sun, moon, I. I. What's the meaning that occurs in your mind when you hear I? I. If the body occurs, you see the body is something that displays the previous object. Now, after I again say sun. Sun. Sun displaced whatever I had, the meaning of I brought in. Moon. Moon displaces the sun completely. Atom, tiny atom, displaces the moon. Mountain. A large mountain displaces the tiny atom completely. Whole mind is occupied by the mountain. Now again, I. I. If the body comes, if anything, any concept comes to your mind, I recognize that it is something displaceable. How? By the next word. Rocket. I cannot be anything that can be displaced because I am the one knowing everything. What's undisplaceable alone can be the meaning of the word I. Whatever comes and goes cannot be the meaning of the word I. This is Viveka. If the body comes, I say, the body thought is something which comes. If I say body, there's a thought. I say sense of hearing. Hearing. Words are being heard. Another thought. Now, sight. Another thought replaces hearing. I remains in sight. I remains in hearing. I remains in smelling. I. Any emotion, jealousy, anger, love, each emotion replaces the other. What remains unreplaceably, constantly, nityam, I. I'm trying to get familiar with I, myself, without extra baggage. I. Does this I have a spatial footmark? Is it an object in space? I. Is it something that happens as an event in time? Every event is recognized by which is I. Time, 1 year, 1 month, 1 week. See what's happening as you hear these words. 1 day, 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second, 1 millisecond. That's a thousandth of a second. 1 microsecond, 10 to the power minus 6. 1 nanosecond, 10 to the power of minus 9. 1 picosecond, I. Does I have a length? Now. 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 What's the length of now? Could be 1 year, could be 1 day, could be an hour. Now I say length 0, now. What's the meaning of the word now? Does it have meaning or no meaning? 0 length, now. See the meaning. 1 second has a length, now no length, no time to even think of it. Now, I. Is there a difference between what happens in your mind when you hear I? Now, consciousness. Consciousness. I. I. Observe as I chant. Observe the interval. Om Ishaya Namaha. Om Ishaya Namaha. What's present all the way in the interval? Om Ishaya Namaha. And even during the chant, Om Ishaya Namaha. What doesn't get displaced? Om Ishaya Namaha. Om Ishaya Namaha. Chanting is mental. It's a thought and it's deliberate, an action. With the action, I. With cognition, thoughts, I. Does that I change? Chant for yourself and see. As you chant, are you different with a chant, without a chant? Chant mentally. You have only one thing right now, the chant. Drop the chant. I. I. Book, book, awareness is. Table. Table, awareness is. Earth. Earth, awareness is. Sorrow. Sorrow, awareness is. Challenge. Challenge, awareness is. Drop all objects. Is. Awareness. Awareness is. Awareness is. I drop the word awareness. Is. 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 I drop the word is. What do you see? Om. I am unchanged, with a thought, without a thought, with an action, without an action. The action stems from me, resolves in me. Thought stems from me, resolves in me. Not the me as the body, not the me as the mind. Hearer, heard, come and go together. Observe. Om. Om. Thinker, thought, come and go together. Om. Om. What doesn't come and doesn't go? Vinashyatsu avinashyantam yaf pashyati sapashyati. If I recognize the unchanging in every change, that is what the Shruti wants me to see. Aham, ahameva. I remain the same, unchanging in and through all changes. Ahamevaham avyayaha. It is very far when I want to objectify this I, and it is nothing but me when I recognize it. Durat duram, and yet antikam, closest. Saparyagat shukram akayam avranam asnaviragum shuddham apapavidham. All these words bring me back to me. Shuddham, just consciousness, just awareness. Jyotisham Jyotihi. Not subject to punya, not subject to papa. Punya papa bring the body and the mind. The body and mind are me. I am free from being the body or the mind. I am the 10th man I am seeking. Chidanandarupaha Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupaha Shivoham Shivoham. I refuse to identify myself with the changing mind and body. Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham na cha shrotra jihve na cha grana netre. I'm not the mind, the ahankara, the memory, nor the senses, nor the body. न च व्योम भूमिर्न tejo na vayuhu. I'm not just something which is made up of the five elements, like the body, mind, and senses, the Panchabhutas. Then what am I? Chidanandarupaha Shivoham Shivoham Chidanandarupaha. This is not just a chant, this is my understanding. Then it's all meaningful. Limitless I am. Time, space, every object in time, space, the mind, the thoughts, everything depends on me. I depend on none of them. I am that presence which shines through every body, every object, as existence, as knowingness, Sat Chit. Chidanandarupaha Shivoham Shivoham. If I identify with the mind, I have an anxiety to go. The bell rang. If I drop the identity, I am not anxious. I am aware of an anxiety. That is what I am. Awareful presence, Ananda. Chit, Sat, Ananda. The whole Purnam. Nothing is outside of this Chaitanyam. I remain, I abide in this understanding. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.